I graduated from film school at San Francisco State.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
that was in '95, and I was gonna go to LA and sell movies. My foundation came from film.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Great. So like you've learned composition and such like that. It's so funny because when I think of film, I think of like you're having a narrative and
Yeah.
you have like forms and figures and like really hardcore compositions that are identifiable, right? And with your paintings, they're so expressionistic, emotionally expressionistic. You know, you're delving into like modes of color and texture and such like that. So, what made you move on to painting?
I just finished rereading The Air-Conditioned Nightmare by Henry Miller. And so I was like trying to figure something out that he was talking about in the book. And so I went on Google and one of his watercolors popped up. And I knew that he did that. But I had forgotten about it. And so when I saw that watercolor, it just was like, the guy does whatever he wants, you know, in some ways. And you know, he can just, and so I just like hollered out to my wife. I'm like, order, I think she was on Amazon or something. I'm like, oh, you know, give me some watercolors and brushes. She's like, okay. And then the after a couple of weeks, it was just too lightweight for me. Watercolors, I need like deep, you know, and then also a medium you can really fuck up and fix. Like oils.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And oil is like mud. It can be really buttery, right?
So you're just like, you know, you're doing something and you're just like, oh my God. Wait, you know, you grab something and, oh, you can fix it. With watercolors, it was like, all of a sudden it was dry and fixed. I was like, I'm not good enough for that. You know, so
it's a specific type.
I just switched. I just bounced. I forgot that. And then, so, but yeah, it was actually that one particular watercolor.
That's awesome that Henry Miller inspired you to paint, and you were right at the time.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you know,
that's a great story.
Yeah.
Did you ever go back and kind of look at different artists' techniques like Jackson Pollock or Clifford Still or anybody like that? Did you since then kind of, or did you ever have like a sense of these type of painters?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I started to do was drip paint, because, and it wasn't because of what Jackson Pollock had done in the past. It was more of like, I recognized a freedom there that I think I needed to like exploit. So, and when I was a kid, I've always studied art. I'm self-taught. I've never taken a class. I mean, I went to film school, but that was all film. I mean, I never took an art class with paint brushes and all that stuff. Never. But I always appreciated and studied it as much as I possibly could on my own time. I have a terrible memory, so I can't tell you, you know, certain specifics on anything like that. But it was just the movement of the abstract gestures and how he was finally, I think, toward the end of his career, because before that, Jackson, you know, he was doing kind of just whatever anything else was doing, but it was just emotion, and you know, I never really understood his artwork until maybe, you know, 6 or 7 years ago when I went to a reserve, the Bonnie Doon Reserve, and there was a bunch of dead manzanita everywhere, not dead or burnt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was walking with my kids and my wife and nieces and nephews and stuff, and I just made like I just looked at something, and it was like, it hit me, and I'm not like that. Like, very few things like shock me, you know? I'm not like that. But when I saw the manzanita near the ground and it was all burnt and all these lines and then there was colors coming through, it was like, oh, like,
Yeah, that sounds beautiful.
I was like,
yeah.
I finally get what he was doing with his automatic art. Mm-hmm. And then I looked at mine, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that at all. I'm just like trying to figure out how colors work together, and if I got lucky, something would be cool. Yeah. And so then I kind of was like, all right, then I switched over to brushes. I worked in the Valley for 10, 11 years, and I just recently got another gig in Santa Cruz, so I don't have to actually go into the Valley anymore.
Yeah.
So there would be this huge contrast of me driving down the hill, and then with the homeless problem that's been coming about in the last 3 or 4 years, 5 years, and then just kind of the trash and the what I've noticed of kind of a little bit of decay in the Valley that affected me, and then I would come back and be at the beach or be in the redwoods or be up here, and so in my paintings you'll see even like the one behind us it's a city on fire, and so I've noticed that I do put in some urban situations in my paintings, and then natural, mostly natural, but somewhere in there I try to give a little bit of an urban effect, I think. Yeah. But I don't overthink my paintings. In fact, I never really even plan them out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, like you don't plan it out.
No, nothing ever.
So it's sort of like you don't have a set time. No. It's more like spontaneous. Is it? So would you say it's like? Would you say it was like emotional? Like I've got to do this. I see these colors. I see this color combination or whatever, and you just like you got to do it. Or
it doesn't get. It gets that way, but it gets that way when I'm in the studio. Like if I'm on the couch with my wife and we're having dinner and watching a movie, she'll be like, go paint, and I'm kind of like, I just want to cuddle, I just want to. She's like, go paint, and then I go in there and I do my thing, and then once I start rolling, then all of that happens.
Yeah, like it's a rapture.
Yeah, it's like when I start to think about something, I fuck it up. And so I just stopped, and I still do that. And I go, what are you doing? You're trying to make something that... So I have to push that out of the way, and then whatever happens is coming through, and I just go with it. And if it looks good, toward the end of the night, I'll stop, but I won't stop until something looks right. It's hard to explain. That's just how I am. So, but I only, the spontaneity is very well scheduled because, I'm a father first, a husband first, and then, I have to work full time. And so when all those things are taken care of, then I can get into my studio and probably, I don't know, it just depends, maybe 10 to 12 hours a week.
Yeah.
But the hours that I'm in there, I can get, I think, a lot done.
You're immersed.
Yeah, and I can concentrate on what not to do, if that makes any sense. I mean, but every painting has its own story. The painting is doing it. I don't. The painting is more powerful than what I'm doing. I'm just kind of following its lead, and then when it goes totally bad, I put it aside and let it dry and scrape it off and start over. But that usually that doesn't happen too often, but it does. Yeah, I think the story of it all would just be to be kind and love the people that are around you. And by my work, I would hope to see if that maybe just makes things a little bit easier in the world.
Yeah.
For myself and for everybody else.
I have a quote here that I've been kind of looking, researching your what you've put out on social media, and I love this quote because when I heard it, I was like, yeah, that sums up that, or not sums it up, but that's definitely this painting, you know. And this one of your followers or friends said, I see heavenly and godly things, but also devils and dark things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you know what painting I'm referring to, right? And hopefully we'll take a look at that
Well,
painting.
it's actually not a painting. It's my wall in my studio.
Oh.
And so, but it could have been one of my paintings.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I thought for sure.
Yeah. And it might be part of one because they're all stapled up in there and they're all kind of all over the place. But I will start pretty much telling myself this is going to be either white primer or black primer.
Oh, okay.
White or black. The last one I started was gray, black and white and gray. And then, it's sometimes it's I just look down at the floor of my studio and see what a lot of colors I have left from the last painting. So if I have like a lot of yellows and oranges that, and they're still in the tubes, then I'll go, cool. I'll just grab the ones that are literally filled with oil.
Okay.
That I can work with, because I'll look over in the corner and they're all emptied out and thrown out. So that's all that's left. So I won't. That could be a certain situation, or, but no. I mean, I just do it. I prime it, and then once it's usually at night when the kids and everyone's asleep and the dogs are not barking anymore. And then I go off.
Okay.
I just go.
How do you know
off.
when to stop?
So, unlike a painting like this, what I'll do is I will literally go from one corner and go up toward the left or to the right, and I will kind of take pictures of take pictures in my head of what the colors are as I go up.
The scheme of the colors?
Yeah. And then, and if I see anything that doesn't look right, I'll keep going. But I'm not a believer in, a painting is never finished type of philosophy. I think that's bullshit. I think that you do have to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could not. I mean, I guess you could keep going, but then if you did that, I mean, for me, I'd just paint one painting, right? Because I would never stop. But no, I don't. It's a feeling. I just know when to stop. And sometimes if I think I'm not going to stop and I know I should, I will get it out of my studio and give it to my wife, or just get it out of my face and put it out here on one of the walls and just be like, enough. Sometimes I do have to tell myself enough because, especially if I get drunk, and I'm in there painting like drunk, then I'm just like, dude.
What's your liquor?
Stop. And right now it's mezcal, but it used to be.
Gosh.
It used to be Hennessy.
Oh.
I know.
That's hard.
But I'm good. I'm not. I don't. I try to. Some nights I go a little too far, but.
Well, combining the oils and let's see.
Oh yeah, it's like a bomb went off in that place. I mean, I get up and my wife will be like, "What are you doing?" It's like all over the place. And those would be the nights I'm not even drunk. I'm like, So, but no, I mean, not stopping is. I mean, you have to stop.
Yeah.
You have to stop. The painting is telling you when to stop. As cliche as that sounds, I mean, it's true. I mean, I have to just kind of back away and start something else. But yeah, I just don't really have. It's all automatic art. I don't think about any of it until I'm probably halfway in the middle of it, and then hopefully at the end, something good or pleasing will come out for myself first at the end, and then if not, I don't care. I'll just do another one. I would tell anybody to put everything into it. you know, and then who cares if it comes out the way you like it or not like it, but if you give your whole heart and soul and all of your everything, I think something will come back. I think you'll see something from that.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate this interview. And
Me too. Thank you very much. All of you guys. It was
great. Yes, we have Tony and Chris and Julie, our art editor for Caesura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Great.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yes.
Sure.
Given your film degree background, what films or what film techniques inspire your painting?
Well, so this might be a little bit of a longer question. You can just edit it out, I guess.
Yeah.
So when I graduated in 1995, okay, and then I went to Europe, and my brother died of AIDS when I was in Paris.
Oh.
So I had this whole idea of like, I'm gonna get my degree, go travel and whatever, and then come back and then move to LA and just start working somewhere somehow. But when I was in school, like the little bit of the conflict I was having was, you know, I loved all of these random abstract, independent, like films from like Germany and you know, Salvador Dali did a really odd one, and I was like, the avant-garde styles were like, I'm like, that's what I want to do. And then back in my head, I'm like, dude, no one's ever gonna buy some, I mean, you know, because I wanted to, you got to make money, you know, I wanted to make a living, so I wasn't like always gonna be broke or driving some crappy car that I've driven forever, you know, until recently, but it was always the avant-garde, the black and whites, the odd angles, you know, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, that, I mean, just those weird, I don't even know if I pronounced it right, but just like the really abstract shots and I remember there was one film, I don't know if it might have been French, and it starts off completely black, okay, and then it starts to come out and looks like hair, and then it is hair, right? And it's a baby, a woman giving birth to this a baby, and it was like, you don't even know what it is because it's so close up at first, and then it finally pulls out, and the head coming out of her is like maybe 10 minutes. You know, so those images just blew me away, and that's the kind of stuff that really turned me on. I mean, I love all the other movies that we all like, right? I mean, and respect, you know, the photography in Apocalypse Now, like the last half hour is just genius. I mean, I watch that movie all the time just because of the colors. So yeah, the colors drew me to that, you know, but I think it's just kind of the abstract stuff that I studied over those 4 or 5 years. And but
yeah, it's interesting how it plays in with your art.
Yeah, I mean, I never.
It's abstract.
Yeah, I mean, I just never thought about it really that much until, you know, you guys started asking me. But when I look back on it, I definitely go, oh yeah, you know, there is a connection. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you play instruments?
I used to play I
I
played the guitar for about 3 years, and I was horrible. I mean, I was horrible. I had a little band with my buddy. You know, but you'd get so stoned, you would actually convince yourself that it was actually good, right? And then you look back and you're listening to it and you go, "What the fuck?" Dude? But it got me through college. You know, just jamming on my guitar. That was terrible. No.
What do you mean got you through college? Did actually people give you money?
No. Just it was like the meditation, like the stress. You know.
Okay, the stress.
Yeah. It's like painting now. It's just, you know,
Yeah,
it's free therapy. Well, it's not free, but it's therapy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And I don't think I'm a Renaissance man at all. I think I just
dabbed in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But I think this is what I'm best at so far, because I don't know about my writing, but this I can see that, like, oh, there's something there.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, most definitely. Bye.